Whether you are on an adventure or at the downtown cafe, your answers are no more than a sniff away. Dog Training 360's purpose is simple: to teach you why dogs do what they do, as well as the action steps you need to take to have better communication, connection, consistency, and conceivability with your dog. Today, we're going to start a series of finding the right breeder to the different stages of puppyhood. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize, what stages their puppies are in, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, where the dogs are at, mentally, and when your key training points are, but also bringing in and getting a trainer in those right moments and all of that. So we're going to do a life stage series from finding the right dog to even up to going into senior citizen life with the dog and what that looks like. So we're going to start our life stage series here. And a lot of the things that people call, and I've had 3 conversations over the last week or so about, we want to add a dog into our family, or we want to, how do we find the right breeder? Will you help us find the right dog? And ultimately what ends up happening when we go through this, and Melissa, you can put your 2 cents in with it, when people are wanting a puppy, is we take it more serious and we're a bit more, picky about what we're looking for, and people don't want to wait for that time to happen. Yeah. They don't want to wait for us to find it. And sometimes it takes us 3 to 6 months to find, 1, the right breed, 2, the right person to get the dog from. And then all of a sudden they call us and say, we got a puppy, woo, we're so excited, but now we have all these problems. Where being patient enough, planning this journey of getting a dog, if you're patient enough, the journey is much easier versus doing it yourself and getting the wrong dog, and you're committed to it, and that's great. But that's the things that I've experienced with people, is they want your help, but we just can't move fast enough because we're too picky. Yeah.
And they're just excited, right? They decided they wanted a dog and they want it yesterday. Yep. They don't, once they've decided, they don't want to wait. And it's not that, I wouldn't say we're too picky. Right. We're picky enough that we're trying to help them. Yeah. But they're just, their timeline is, once they decide they want a dog, their timeline shortens a lot. Yeah. Because now we're so thinking excited about getting a dog. Oh, we got one. Yeah. Like, that's pretty much about how it goes.
Exactly. So I hope this series is more for guiding people in, this journey of, just the basics of what should I look for to find the right dog, to now we've got the dog, and what are the stages that they go through? Yeah. And just kind of explaining this whole series. I'm taking in a German Shepherd into a board and train situation, and she's right at that stage of where they want to cut the apron strings. And people don't realize that dogs have that just like human beings do, that at this stage between 6 and 10 months, they go through another naughty stage because they're cutting the apron strings, because in nature, they have to cut their apron strings to either be a producing, a reproductive member of the pack, or they have to go out and make their own pack. Mm-hmm. And so it's still in them. Yeah, they're domesticated dogs, but that piece is still in them. And so people are constantly trying to pull their dogs in, and their dogs are pushing their out. Yeah. And the dogs get really naughty at that stage. And so I was having this conversation with a client today, and I said this would be a perfect time for a board and train, because we're going to allow this dog to cut the apron strings and work it out itself, and then we'll present the dog back home, and so the dog was allowed to cut those apron strings and now be a productive member into this pack, if you will. And so, but people don't know that. They don't know that that's what they're going through. So that's what the purpose of this series is. So we're going to talk about the rule of 7 today. And so let's first talk about, what is the rule of 7? and how can you use this to find the right dog for you, or maybe even just the right breeder for you. So Melissa, I'm going to let you start with, what is the rule of 7?
Well, 7's the magical number for dogs. So the rule of 7 is before a puppy, 7 weeks old, exposed to 7 different things, 7 different places, 7 different peoples, textures. You want a variety. You want a lot of different tools in your puppy's toolbox that they know how to handle life.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't realize that when we get a puppy at 8 weeks, their story's written.
Yeah.
Like they say half their book.
Yeah.
Of how they react to life, what their responses to fear, how they figure out affection, where they lay in the hierarchy of packs.
Right.
All of that's done. And so finding a breeder that understands that and goes, yeah, I expose these puppies to 7 different surfaces.
Yeah.
So your dog's not going to go, oh, carpet, I've never been on carpet.
Let's pee on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's pee on it. Or I'm not going to walk on tile.
Yeah.
Because I've had quite a bit of people that their puppies have weird texture stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's scary to be a puppy. And if they're only on concrete their entire life,
right,
it's very unfair to throw them out into the world and then expect success.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When you're looking for a breeder, to find a breeder that goes, yeah, I put my puppies in uncomfortable situations and they work through it and they have confidence.
Yeah.
Instead of an unhealthy coddling, I would say.
Yeah, that we keep them inside, we keep them contained, with it's all clean,
warm,
it's all
and fluffy, and
yeah. Temperatures don't change, or
So that's kind of the rule of 7 in a nutshell.
Great. So the first thing is being on 7 different types of surfaces, which we talked about.
Yeah.
So 7 different surfaces, Shannon. It's not that hard to figure out what's 7 different surfaces.
Oh, grass, carpet, tile, gravel, plants, like weed length plants. What else? A table. I would put my dog on the table. Yeah. A slippery, metallic, maybe on top of the dryer. You could put the dog on a blankie in the back of your car. Like anywhere.
Right. You're right. Yeah. I mean, it's just the change of the texture and the surface, and it's not just plop, there you are for a minute and take them off. It's put them on it and let them discover it.
Yeah.
Right.
And learn that. Oh, I'm on top of the dryer and there's cheese bits on here. Yay, it's all good. And then, so you want to get them on and let them be comfortable for some type of duration. Sometimes it's seconds, sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's days, but you get them used to that. So play with seven different types of objects. Go, Melissa, 7 different.
So say umbrellas, big balls, squeaky toys, tarps are a fun one to play. It kind of goes with surfaces too. Ropes. Stuffed animals. Harder bones. Ice. I've seen people have their dogs play with ice, and that was super cute to see the puppies play. How many numbers am I at?
Oh, you're on 8.
I'm on 8?
Yep.
Yeah, there I go.
So some other different things is metal objects, putting tools in there.
Oh, yeah.
So because puppies, you get the puppies home, and one of the biggest things, they're putting everything in their mouth. Like they're trying to discover it. But if the breeder would have done that, then they would go, oh yeah, I've already checked that out.
Right.
I'm not going to put, something. So even putting rubber and shoes in, it doesn't teach the puppy to play with it.
No.
It's just letting them discover these things that they've already discovered it. And then, what do we do with it? Well, if there's a shoe in there and there's a squeaky toy and there's a bone, that shoe is the lowest value.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to be as fun to play with. And so then when you bring your puppy home, they go, that really wasn't that fun, because there's other things that are, much more fun. Okay, 7 different locations within where the dogs are at, because people don't like to expose, you don't want to go trample them around when their immune systems are weak and they're at their stress points. But 7 different locations within a household. Where is it? Both of you.
Every room of your house, every part of your house in the room that has a different texture, or even something they could go in, like their crate under the bed.
Yard.
Yard.
Sandbox.
Yep.
Like
the garage, the shed, the basement, laundry room,
bathroom,
anywhere. Right. I'm a fan of anywhere that has different noises, and I like that with the toys too. Like toys that move or make noises. I'm a fan of anything that's a different noise or quality to it than another room.
Then totally. And having them in the living room when you have the vacuum on, and you're vacuuming, so it's a normal thing.
This is life. Met and played with 7 different people.
That's generally an easy one because most people are totally down to come play with the puppy.
Right.
But exposure to toddlers, babies, little
people,
kids, old people.
People that have walkers or wheelchairs or canes or other oxygen, other kind of assistance things that are odd to dogs.
Teenagers, the scariest group.
And what's the most common group that everybody goes, oh, we do what? What's the type of people that everybody takes pride in that they've introduced the puppies to? Kids. Yep.
They've met kids.
But they don't think about, well, what if, grandma's living with a new, a potential person, and grandma has oxygen, or grandma has a wheelchair or a walker. What if grandma sits and doesn't have a lot of interaction? And so, or grandpa smokes a pipe, or, there's things that we don't think about from a senior side of things to the softness and playfulness of children sometimes is worse being overexposed, because then the puppies see the kids and they're over the top versus, oh yeah, I've met you. Oh yeah, I've met you. Oh yeah, I've met, these things become familiar to them instead of just being so, oh, they love kids, because sometimes that's worse.
Yeah, I have 2 clients right now who, when I work with the dogs, they're under a year old, but definitely some weird stuff with babies because they lose their minds when they see a baby. Overly excited, they start peeing, they get like frantic excited with like babies or toddlers. Like the dogs just cannot focus because they're so excited and they have to get to the baby. And they don't do anything to the baby, they just have to be right there. But it's very odd. Like
just overexposure, not enough exposure to people in general. I've been exposed to 7 challenges. What would a challenge be to a puppy?
Loud sound.
Okay.
I made like an obstacle course for my dog that was like all different sizes of things, and like things that would off balance that might tip over, that they could walk and play and like learn how to climb on stuff and fall off stuff.
Get maneuvering around fences or opening doors, setting up baby gates and have them figure out, hey, my buddy's over there. How do I get around this gate that's up? And problem solve around it. Or even, tunnels that they have to go through that they can't see the other end, so that obstacle type situation or things they have to climb under. And you'll find, that puppies will, if they can get under something, those are the puppies that are going to be a bit easier to crate train when they want to get in and nestle in under stuff. But even just those little plastic kids play little things that's got the slide that's like 2 feet long, that, and letting them solve that. Oh, we slide on this, and doing stuff like that would be considered challenges that they have to figure out how to work around or get to, or that type of thing. Eaten from 7 different containers. And this one seems to be really weird for people to like, why would that matter? We're going to feed him in a dog bowl. But what would be the reasoning behind 7 different containers?
Normalize like that eating is eating. There's a different variety. And there's not such a neurotic way to eat that it has to be this bowl and it's always the exact same. And then when it's not, food might be going away, this might be scarce. There's always that shift that can get goofy with food. And so the different surfaces, the different smells, that it's just, we're going to get fed. That's fine. All as well.
It doesn't, we can just eat and it's not a big deal. So what would be 7 different containers?
We do a regular bowl, if you have a metal bowl, a deeper bowl, shallow bowl, ceramic, plates, paper plates, what have you. When we got Cooper, she still to this day is very hard to change her food surfaces. And it's just a funny thing that it's a metal bowl, and if it's in any other type of thing, she gets goofy. And she starts trying to bury it, and she gets And so I'm like, oh yeah, I bet that she had that one bowl, and that was all that they all they used.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, 7 different eating in 7 different locations. So it's the same concept that we've talked about before, from eating in a crate to getting some food on top of a washer, dryer, or a table, eating in the kitchen, eating in the basement, eating outside on grass, eating outside on gravel, eating on wood chips. You know, there's so many different, you take your 7 environments, and now we're going to feed in those environments to create this neutrality in the puppies, that there's nothing to worry about. Like, oh yeah, we've done this. It creates a confident dog. And being exposed to those things really sets your puppy up to be somewhat successful in a home because they've been exposed to it.
Right. And knowing stress.
Yeah.
Like, so many times we don't expose our dogs to stress. Like, I call them like little micro stressors, but then expect them to handle big changes.
Yeah.
And that's really unfair.
Yep.
But instead, your puppy's already successfully done 7, well, more than 7, really hard things.
Yeah.
When they were doing them, oh my gosh, this is the scariest thing ever. And then they do it.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I survived.
Yeah.
You just got to think through it.
Yeah.
You have to act instead of react to it all.
Right.
And so then when they're older and you have the vacuum going, or your friends, your kids' friends over, or there are fireworks, or there's, you're going to the vet and you have to stand on the table.
Yep.
Your puppy's like, oh, been there, done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
I think what we forget as maybe a consumer of purchasing a dog is that we can ask these kinds of questions. And you may not find that a breeder does everything, but are they doing something?
Right.
Are they trying to help stress the puppies out in a way that's healthy to help them be successful in a home? And one of the biggest questions that I ask breeders are, what are the things that you do to help your puppies be successful in a home? And I've worked with backyard breeders and professional breeders, and I have yet to find one that can just completely rattle off what they do. I don't care what they do, just do you do something?
Right.
And a lot of them go, oh, that is a really good question. I've never thought about that. And it really, rather you're in it to make a ton of money, which there's those breeders out there, or you're in it to better breed, your biggest focus should be, how am I setting these puppies up to be successful in their home? Because if you're in it for the money, you don't want the puppy back.
Right.
And most likely you won't take the puppy back because you've already spent the money. If you're in it to better the breed, if a puppy comes back because of problems, you at least know that you've set a good foundation, that you can fix it.
Right.
Of whatever the person that purchased the dog did, or what just wasn't the right fit or whatever. But you at least know that you've laid a foundation that puppy can handle some stressors,
right,
to function. And so, how can we take these things and say, I want to get a dog from a rescue or a shelter or some kind of organization that takes in dogs and rehomes them. How can a person take this rule of 7 and try and mimic that into that world? Any suggestions?
Yeah, you can. I helped 3 months ago. I helped a client pick out a dog from the shelter, and she already had a couple that she chose initially, and so I was like, okay, we're gonna work with this. You've chose 3,
right?
Let's find whatever one within these 3. And I had her bring her grandpa. Her niece came. We brought different people, saw how the dog reacted. different toys, different sounds, and I'd have like go in there and just kind of be weird. And she has a cat, and I was like, can't really expose to the cat, but we talked to the shelter about what they've done. And just as much as we could bring into that environment. And we did it twice. I had her do each thing twice.
Nice.
Different days, different times. Because the shelters are such a stressful environment. That your dog's in survival mode. So you're not going to get a very true reaction.
Right.
But I told her at least twice, do these different things. And let's get a baseline of how each dog reacts.
Right.
And it was fun. They did react to stuff.
Sure.
And that did change. And so you can't do 7. You can't take them to 7 different places.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of shelters will let you take the dog on a walk. And you can encounter a lot of surfaces on a walk.
Sure.
Even in the city. You know, so you could try some different. Play, you know, just in that little time.
Right.
Almost every shelter will let you walk the dog before you take it. Or when you're looking.
And even bringing in rugs and cardboards, you know, just to see what, you know, what the response is to it. You can bring in noises, you know, and that's, you really, is it the deciding factor of, well, this dog hasn't been exposed to, you know, to the rule of 7. No, but it gives you an idea, right? They tell their story. It's just like, you know, Cooper, her metal bowl is her mealtime. And everything else is like, do I need to savor this? What do I need to, you know, how do I need to manage this food that's in this plastic bowl versus my metal bowl? Well, you go, okay, well, she was only fed in metal bowls in a certain, you know, environment, if you will, that it just lets you know what you have.
Right.
And then what you need to work with. And can you work with it? Is that something you can work with within your home? You know, if the dog doesn't want to walk on solid surfaces or wood and your whole house is wood floors, it might be more stressful for that dog to come into that situation than to not just pick another dog. There's plenty. And so it shouldn't be, you know, well, you're not going to play with toys, so I'm not going to adopt you. No, but maybe it's just, it doesn't know what to do with those toys, and it's something that you can work with and progress with, but you know that. Maybe it's only wants to chew on wood. Well, maybe you should think about your home environment, and is there more wood than not? And maybe that's not the right dog. Just those simple little things that can tell you, can I work with this? Or it's just not worth the stress for everybody, you know, to deal with. This consultation that I had today with this German Shepherd, and I asked him, you know, where they got him from and why they picked this dog, and they got her. They purchased her off of KSL, and the dog was given to this family as a gift, and the HOA didn't allow German Shepherds, and so they had to rehome her. That's their story. And some of the things that they were looking at, the first one dog that they had tried, that they had fostered in, was really a ranch type dog, and they live in a PUD, so it's the yard, no yard. It's not like can just let the dog be outside all the time.
Right.
And so when they got the dog home, it was so stressed about being inside, but they couldn't put the dog outside and help the dog be successful coming inside because they don't have a yard.
Right.
And so it's like that. It just didn't work for us because we don't have that environment to help that dog be successful. Where this German Shepherd, we knew she had some issues. We've had Shepherd mixes and stuff before, but she was a puppy, and she mostly stayed inside, and they didn't have a fenced-in yard either where they got her from. So they felt like, okay, that's something that we can work with, and now we'll work with the other things that, you know, is coming along with this puppy. So, you know, when I thought to myself, like, kudos for you for thinking about that home environment, that you at least know you need that because you don't have a yard. And they do take her, you know, they are walkers, they do take them out, and so they knew that they could give a German Shepherd what they needed as far as activity level and that type of thing. And so there was a lot that they put a lot of thought into, you know, can we do this for this dog and finding a dog that was mostly inside, that they didn't have to worry about that outside piece of it. So, and a lot of people were frustrated with them that they returned this ranch dog, but they just felt like we can't, we can force this dog inside, but it was not, I mean, they gave it a shot, and it's just like every door that opened, it was just trying to get out because it just didn't feel safe in there. Yeah. So the rule of 7 is not a deal breaker if you're going out and finding and rescuing or adopting a dog, but it would be a deal breaker for me if I'm looking for the right breeder to bring this puppy into a home. At least we have a starting point of, I know they've been exposed to things that are stressors that they can at least come into my home, and we can work with whatever else we have. And to me, that would be the baseline of, can you find a breeder that is doing something to help their puppies be successful in their new home? And that would be the number one question and the number one start. And thinking about the environment that the dog is going to be in, and exposing them, just like when you've taken your client in, grandpa's going to be around. So how does this dog respond to slow moving men? I've had some dogs that don't like my dad at all. And it's just, sometimes it's his cigarettes, sometimes it's, his mannerisms, so if that person's going to be in your life, you should probably take them in and expose them so how they're going to respond to it. Baseball hats on, different, there's just such a number of things that you can do. And it's not necessarily we have to stick to this rule of 7 of here's the things that we have to do, but what 7 things can you put in that category that fits in your life that you can expose them to? Yep. And so that's where it all starts in the thought process of helping people find the right dog, is what kind of stressors can the dogs handle and what's been done with them.